My name is Janae Strachey, and this is On Air with Heritage Action, a podcast built for conservatives. Twice a week, we break down in 5-ish minutes or less how you can get involved today in the fight for conservative values. Hey everyone, today I have an important legislative update. But first, let me start by saying America is a great nation with great ideals. But unfortunately, those ideals are not always pursued. It's incredibly saddening and maddening that for the second time this year, the Senate is going to vote on an abortion on demand bill to codify Roe v. Wade into law and ensure late-term abortions are legal everywhere in our nation. The vote is scheduled to happen tomorrow, Wednesday, May 11th, and here's what you need to know. The Senate originally voted on this bill back in February. Thankfully, it failed by a vote of 46 to 48 then. All Republican senators were opposed, with one Democrat, Senator Joe Manchin, joining them. For tomorrow's vote, the bill would need 60 votes to pass, as Sinema and Manchin have again reiterated their refusal to nuke the filibuster and lower that threshold to 51 votes. Even then, without a filibuster, it would still fail, as Manchin, the last pro-life Democrat, is opposed. Okay, but this is important. Let's talk about what's in the bill. The official name of the bill is the Women's Health Protection Act, but I've been calling it the Abortion for All Act because that's what it does. The key word here is all. Abortion would be legal for all 9 months of pregnancy. The Democrats' bill ensures all 50 states have legalized abortion for all 9 months of pregnancy. Yes, you heard that right. Under this law, it would be legal in all 50 states to kill a completely healthy and fully grown 9-month-old baby that is just minutes away from being born. This would also mean all state pro-life protections would be gone. 3/4 of American voters are against elective late-term abortions in the second and third trimesters. It's why most states have passed laws to protect a child's life once it is viable outside the womb at 22 to 24 weeks. Many other states have passed laws to protect a child once it is capable of feeling pain at 15 weeks. But all these state laws would be erased if the Democrats' bill were to become law. And with state protections gone, all babies would be susceptible to being targeted for an abortion. Right now, it's illegal in many states to use abortion to select for the sex, gender, or genetics of a child. But with state laws gone, the law would allow abortionists to target children based on these criteria. And if that's not bad enough, this bill would also mean all healthcare providers would be at risk of having to help perform an abortion, as it endangers existing state and federal conscious protections laws. So doctors and nurses with sincerely held religious beliefs wouldn't be allowed to object or step out of the room. Instead, they'd be legally forced to take part in the abortion. Lastly, all of us would be paying for abortions with our taxpayer dollars. For decades, the Hyde Amendment has protected taxpayer dollars from directly funding the murder of babies. Under this new bill, policies like Hyde would be in serious jeopardy, and your tax dollars could flow even more freely to abortion industry groups. So you can see why I'm calling this the Abortion for All Act. It's radical, it's extreme, and it is completely untethered from the wishes of 75% of American voters. Thankfully, it's almost certainly going to fail tomorrow, just like it did in February. So the question is, why are Democrats so hell-bent on voting on it for a second time? And this is the key question to understanding what's really happening here in Washington, to understand the power dynamics at play. This is an important election year for Democrats. It's basically a foregone conclusion that they will lose the House. So retaining the Senate becomes that much more important and will be their number one priority. They're on defense with some really tough races in New Hampshire, Nevada, Arizona, and Georgia. And then there are important open seats in Pennsylvania and Ohio that they're trying to win. No good Senate leader would ever force their members to take such a bad vote in an election year. But Chuck Schumer is making them do it twice. So why? One can only speculate, of course, but here are two plausible reasons. First, being that this is all about Chuck. Senate Leader Schumer is up for re-election this year, and so to avoid a serious primary challenger, he has to play with the progressive wing that now dominates his party. And to get those votes, he's got to stay woke. This certainly could help explain the scheduled vote on the Abortion for All Act back in February. And it worked. The filing deadline on April 7th came and went without any major contenders stepping up to challenge Schumer. So Schumer is basically safe now. The primary isn't until June, but it's hard to fathom him losing the nomination at this point. So why the second vote? I think the answer is that his conference is demanding it. There are clearly a lot of Senate Democrats who think this bill is a selling point on the campaign trail. They think it will help galvanize the base and drive up turnout. But the truth is that Americans don't like late-term abortion. For decades, Democrats have hid behind Roe on the campaign trail and haven't had to articulate their views on abortion. So they said supporting Roe, and that got them through. But with this vote, they are articulating exactly when they think it should be okay to kill a baby in the womb. And just a little news flash for the Democrats, telling voters that you think it should be legal to abort a full-term baby is just not the selling point that they think it is. Most of America is not demonic or cold-hearted. Democrats are in a corporate media echo chamber. There are plenty of polls on the unpopularity of late-term abortion. Democrats are just refusing to look at them. They're going to be shocked to find out that most voters don't view abortion the same way as the editorial board of the New York Times. Americans are focused on their families, their jobs, inflation, and the economy. And come November, I think voters that are still struggling with rising prices are not going to forget the fact that the Senate did nothing to help them this year. But they did manage to find precious time in the Senate to hold not one, but 2 votes on the Abortion for All Act. We see where the Democrats' priorities are, and they aren't the priorities of most Americans. So the call to action today is simple. Pay attention to this vote tomorrow and don't let people forget it. Share this podcast with others and find more resources at heritageaction.com. And if there's an issue you think is more deserving of the Senate's time, call your senators and tell them. Congress should be working for the American people, not the progressive fringe of the Democratic Party. That's it for another episode of On Air with Heritage Action. Thank you for tuning in. If you like what you heard in today's episode, please click the follow button. If you want to receive a text message each time a new episode airs, text podcast to 51776 and you'll never miss an episode. That's podcast to 51776. Hi, it's me again, and we need your help. If you like the insights and activist resources we are providing, please take 1 minute and help us spread the word. Share this episode with friends and family on social media, email, or text. We need everyone's help in the fight to hold Washington accountable. And don't forget, you are also able to subscribe and listen to episodes on your smartphone. Just open up your favorite podcast app and search for On Air with Heritage Action. Click subscribe and download episodes so you can take them with you on the go. It's the best way to make sure you never miss a thing. Thanks.